Please give them a big round of applause. I love this video. I love this video. So, in fact, this is pretty simple, right? There is an unfair system and there is a fair system. So in the unfair system, remember I place traditional finance but also other crypto. So for example, did you know that 97% of the crypto created in 2017 have disappeared? So they have disappeared with billions of the money of the investors, and most of the time beginners, right? Who then decide to just never come back to crypto because they are being discussed. So this is really important to understand that. And then there is Bitcoin, which is different, which is a fair system. As you've seen, no single person can change it. The rules are set in stone, and yet here I am giving you my time, giving you my energy, but I still feel like some people are not paying attention. I don't see people taking notes and all of that. So, for example, what's your name? Remy. I just don't like you, so please leave my lesson, please. So now tell me, was I being unfair just now? Yes. But why any of you did say anything? Right? And that's the lesson, that's the injustice, right? And the problem is that if you don't speak out when something unjust happens, one day you will be in this situation and no one will help you. So, and that's the lesson, that's exactly what is happening with money every day, the money that we use every day. Injustice happens in the traditional financial system. And our money that is in the hands of governments and banks are being printed out of the air and just debasing our lives. So please, let me get him back. Can you please come back, Remy? Oh. And please give him a big round of applause. Thank you. Have a seat. Thank you very much. Sometimes we need some proper example to make a point, right? So just for you to not just trust us like this, I need to present you with some facts, right? And there is a saying in Bitcoin: don't trust, verify. So don't trust any word I say or any word we say, okay? Verify everything. And so I'm showing you here the Bitcoin blockchain. So the Bitcoin blockchain is this. You can see every transaction in the blockchain. So you can go to mempool.space and you can see in real time the Bitcoin transaction. And the opposite of that is the unfair system of banks. For example, central banks refuse to be audited. So you Swiss people, for example, you cannot know exactly what is in the safe or the treasury or inside the Swiss National Bank. It refuses to be audited. The Bitcoin protocol is audited every day, real time. We can see everything, right? So cheating is impossible in Bitcoin. That's super important. And then I'm showing you this slide to show you the governance of Bitcoin. So the governance are the rules, okay? One node, this thing is a small hardware that cost less than 200 Swiss francs that you can have at home, and one node equal one vote. So if you have 1 million Bitcoin and you're super rich, you only have one vote because you are only one node in the network. This is super important. That means that in order to change a rule in Bitcoin, we need the majority of the consensus, right? And so here you can see that there is more than 20,000 visible nodes in the world, but we know the philosophy of Bitcoiners, so we know that probably the majority of people who have a node don't want to be visible, so maybe there is 100,000 nodes, so it's extremely decentralized. When we talk about decentralized, that's what we mean. Yes. And you have to remember that 87% of the population today is living in an authoritative state. So for us, it's easy to say, okay, I want to have a Bitcoin node and be visible, I don't care. I'm in Switzerland, I'm in France, we don't care. But the majority of people on Earth are living in countries where it's extremely dangerous for them to say publicly that they have Bitcoin, right? So now, please stand up again, please stand up. And we are going to do this again. So we are going to show you the slides, and you will have a few minutes, a little bit faster than before, to explain to your partner what you remember. Starting with this one. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please give yourself a big round of applause. Well done. Make yourself comfortable. Grab a seat for me, please. Make yourself comfortable. So we are done with the real hard work per se. So now it's more like a quick fireside chat and Q&A. So we have prepared some of the usual questions that people have regarding Bitcoin, but we want also to have your questions. So for example, Michael, it was a super question. So yeah, if you have some questions, you can ask, and we can start maybe with the first one.
Is Bitcoin using too much energy?
So is Bitcoin using too much energy? Actually, I think Bitcoin is using too less energy, not enough energy. Because for people to understand, the creation of Bitcoin happens with Bitcoin mining. Okay, we have to mine Bitcoin. There is proof of work. You need to spend a lot of energy to run these hardwares, right? A lot of electricity. And so every time the hash rate, so the computing power increase, that means that the Bitcoin protocol is more secure. So for you, if you start investing in Bitcoin, what it means for you is that every time the hash rate go up, or every time there is a good amount of energy used to mine, it means that your Bitcoin is being secured. So it's extremely important that we use a lot of energy. Now, the question that is being asked, I think for the majority of people, it's to understand if it's clean or dirty energy, right? This is the difference. And so, yeah, it's that, right?
That's good, yeah.
And so, you have to remember that the Bitcoin mining industry is one of the greenest energy industry in the world. So it uses more than 60% of renewable energy. And in comparison, the banking system is polluting a lot more. So what does that mean again for you? It means that if you use credit cards for payments, if you use bank accounts to receive payments, it means that you pollute more than if you use Bitcoin. Now, if you have some banking saving account, and you save money in your bank account, it means that you pollute more than if you save in Bitcoin. It's extremely important to remember that. And I think there is a good example that I want to show you is this, because this is Bitcoin mining companies going in some places like Ethiopia, where I'm born, so I'm quite happy for that. And that what they do in these countries is that they use the excess of energy, right? A lot of energy has been created there, and so they use this excess of energy, they mine Bitcoin, they pay the people there, so that way Ethiopia earned more than $50 million just last year because of that. So Bitcoin isn't destroying the planet like you can hear in the media, and most importantly, is there anyone in the room where you have for example, some families abroad? Do you have some families abroad? Wonderful. So, what does that mean for poor countries, especially? Is that poor countries, and a lot of poor countries have a lot of energy. Okay, they are poor, but they have a lot of energy. And with Bitcoin mining, it means that they can finally start to become richer. So, if they have energy, they are a rich country with Bitcoin. So it's really cool. So I think we can give a big round of applause for that. Maybe a question from the audience. Does anyone have a question? Yes, Charlie. Maybe no. Yeah. Can you? I think there is. So I think it's extremely dangerous to have this mindset, because in order for Bitcoin to be here alive in 2025. A lot of different factors had to happen. And so, for example, in 2024, last year, I don't know if any of you remember, there has been the creation of the Bitcoin ETF, right? One of the biggest ETF in history. And so it means that big institutions have been coming into the Bitcoin market really fast and with huge amount of money, right? And if it had happened during the first few years of Bitcoin, it would have been too much, and it would have collapsed Bitcoin. So the fact that people didn't care about Bitcoin for the first years was the necessary condition for Bitcoin to improve and for Bitcoin to kind of set the foundation for being what it is now. And I think what the anonymous inventor of Bitcoin have done is almost impossible, if not, to recreate. This is the perfect assemblage of different technologies. So no, I don't think that Bitcoin could be, or another crypto could be replacing Bitcoin.
And if there is another one that could replace, it doesn't have the network effect that Bitcoin has, because it will have years behind.
Yeah, it's extremely important, the network effect. It means that only, basically in one industry or in one domain, only one can win. If we already have something that does that, why Bitcoiners will sell the Bitcoins to go for another crypto if it plays that role? But that's a good question. Thank you.
Okay, Abel, it's too volatile to be useful, prices swing widely, it can be a stable currency.
So it's a question that many people have, and yes, Bitcoin is the most volatile asset in the world. So short term, if people come to this market and to this investment just to play short term, they will lose money. Like it's not the right strategy. But long term, the volatility just disappears in a way, because no one has ever lost money holding Bitcoin for more than 4 years. Okay, have you raise your hand if you have heard about that stat. Okay, thank you. So yes, if you invest in Bitcoin, you have to remember that. If you hold your asset for more than 4 years, you are in benefit. And maybe we can show them this graph of the Bitcoin price over the years, okay? So we can see that a little more than 10 years ago, you could have one Bitcoin for 25 Swiss franc, and today it's almost 100,000 Swiss franc, right? So who cares about short-term volatility if you know that long-term you are winning? You just have to have the proper knowledge. That's why you are here tonight, so congratulations, and the right strategy. And so one strategy, and this is the best strategy ever, that's the DCA, dollar cost average. So it means you invest the same amount every year, every month. And so here I wanted to present you this example. So this is a simple case study of a Swiss nurse who makes 4,000 Swiss francs per month, and she decided in 2017 to put 10% of her salary into Bitcoin. So 400 Swiss francs per month. So from 2017 to 2025, she has invested, so she has paid 39,000 Swiss francs, okay? But her current portfolio is around 600,000 Swiss francs. So her profit is 563,000 Swiss francs. Okay, so I think it's pretty good, and it's because of DCA plus the performance of Bitcoin. More than 70% per year on average. So first, I think we can give her a big round of applause. And so, what does that mean for you? Because we don't care about someone investing in 2017. If let's say that you need some time to understand Bitcoin, to come to our events every month and to learn, and you want to start investing in January 2026, here's how it could look. So with the performance assumptions, we can see that if you decide to have the exact same strategy, putting 400 Swiss francs per month into Bitcoin, in 15 years you would have paid 72,000 Swiss francs. And here's your portfolio. 2026, 6,000 Swiss francs. 2030, 200 Swiss francs. 2040, 27 million Swiss francs. So this is impossible. First, we need to understand that this is impossible for the brain to conceptualize this kind of numbers. This is impossible. I think it's the exponential. Our brain are not made to understand that. So we need to understand compounded interest. Raise your hand if you have heard about this term, compounded interest. Wonderful. So let me show you maybe a quick example of this compounded interest. So this is probably one of the most important things you have to remember when it comes to investing in general, not just Bitcoin. So there is beautiful mountains here in the region, right? Beautiful mountains. So imagine this: you are climbing on the very top of a mountain, beautiful mountain, and this is winter. So you decide to make a small snowball on the very top of the mountain. And then, so this small snowball is your first 400 Swiss francs. Okay, this is the first month, 400. And then you decide to let that small snowball roll. And what does that mean? It means that every month and every year, every interest that you make on your Bitcoin is compounding in itself. And so by the time this snowball attain the how do you say the bottom of the mountain, thank you, you have a big, very, 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 very big snowball, 27 million. That's why Einstein said compounded interest is the eighth wonder of the world. This is absolutely magical. So please give compounded interest a big round of applause. Thank you. Maybe some questions from the audience. Don't be shy. Yes. You have the mic just here coming for you. Thank you.
So let's take the example of this 20-second weekend. If you have that money, no Bitcoins, can you buy something with that money?
You can buy a lot of things with it, of course. So you have the chance to be in Switzerland. This is one of the country, in fact, where we can use as much as possible Bitcoin, I would say. So yeah, you can buy almost anything you want. You can buy houses, you can buy cars, you can buy travels, you can go to a very nice place where they accept Bitcoin. There's more and more, each month there is a new place that accepts Bitcoin. And there's even some countries like El Salvador who makes Bitcoin legal tender.
Do the Swiss banks, for example, accept the Bitcoins?
There is some Swiss bank who accept Bitcoin. you have someone just behind you that works in a bank that accept Bitcoin. So there is banks more and more, and so yeah, and in 2040 it will be like absolutely normal to pay with Bitcoin.
I have another question. I know the script is to decide all the governments and all the national banks that Bitcoin, okay, is in parallel. It's not controlled by government, it's not controlled by national
Exactly.
banks, right? Yes. So, and let's say it becomes dangerous for the national banks and for the official system. So, may they simply make it forbidden and say, no, the Bitcoin is forbidden, so we have this issue and we forbidden to accept that at the banks and whatever, this is forbidden.
This is a super question, and we will show you just how it looks. How it looks when government try to ban Bitcoin. You can see this wonderful meme that speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So that's, in fact, they have been trying to destroy Bitcoin since they heard about it. So China, for example, maybe one of the worst country in the world, tried 70 times, not 17, 70 times to ban Bitcoin. And they had a large portion of Bitcoin miners there, and it just won't work. It doesn't work. So first, they cannot technically ban Bitcoin, but more importantly, there is the game theory that comes into play, meaning that if one country try to ban Bitcoin, the Bitcoiners or the Bitcoin companies, Bitcoin mining companies will just fly to another country who accept Bitcoin. So they are in a situation where there is now a competition between countries that are trying to adopt and also attract this new capital and this new people to come join us. So for example, the United States president have made his campaign and have run for president with this promise of being the Bitcoin capital of the world. So this is quite huge, right? So yeah, you want maybe to add something?
Yeah, so as the United States made it clear they accept Bitcoin, so other countries, it's like they don't have to ban it. It's silly.
Yeah.
Yes. Is another good example. You put is volatile, not only the Bitcoin, but the decision of the president is very volatile too.
You mean that they can change
From one day to the next day, or from 1 hour to the next hour?
Yeah, but what does the big question that we need to ask ourselves is, what does it change for Bitcoin? The Bitcoin protocol is so decentralized that, and there is so much people in it, that there is no incentives to make it disappear. Like too much people have skin in the game now, and to just roll back would be losing millions and billions. And more importantly than that, I've showed you how much the central banks are printing money, right? So it means that right now, the traditional financial system that we use every day is insolvent. The debts are too high, and this is insolvent. So Bitcoin, even though we don't like that as Bitcoiners, for the philosophy of Bitcoin, we don't like that, but Bitcoin appears also for these countries that are highly indebted to have a solution to try also to accumulate Bitcoin, and countries start buying Bitcoin, banks start buying Bitcoin, companies start buying Bitcoin for the treasury, and Bitcoin becomes the only pristine asset, as they say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
So thank you for this question.
Thank you.
Yes, can we please give the mic? Thank you. It's coming.
Yeah, what happened yesterday.
So I will let Jean.
So yesterday we had unlikely events, a supply chain attack on the Node.js package. So it's a way software is made, and there were an attack on the distribution of the software used in many Bitcoin wallets. And so it means that you have to verify each time you make a transaction, that the address is the one that you see. And for that, you cannot trust JavaScript that is in the browser, because it can be intercepted, and this is the infected JavaScript. They swap the address with another one, and you have to make sure not only the beginning and the end are the same, but all the number in the transaction. And if you have a hardware wallet, it would be it's impossible, because the hardware wallet doesn't use the Node.js package that is used on the web browser. So really be careful when you're online. Use wallet that you can trust and that is not generated online, but hardware wallet is a good example of they are generated offline, without internet.
And also to really check if it's really the right address, right? So you have the address on your hardware, you have the address on the laptop, and you need to verify every word. Don't try to say, okay, I see the beginning, I see the end, okay, I send. No, because they can change just some word in the middle, right?
And so there is a very good wallet that was not impacted by this. It's called Sparrow Wallet. So it's a client that you download, and it's on the computer. And maybe we will see in the future more and more attacks like that. So you have really to understand how it works to make sure that your bitcoins are safe.
Exactly. And I think the conclusion of that is always that Bitcoin is still safer than any other investment or any other assets. So yeah, I think we can finish on that. Please give a big round of applause to Jean. And now we will have a quick 5-10 minutes break. But before, please stand up. Please stand up. And as we did at the beginning, for those of you who weren't there, so we will have this music for 1 minute, and the challenge is to go and give a high five to every person in the room. So please play the song. Thank you.